Hello everyone, my name is Corazar, and welcome back to Vintage Story Desert Life, episode 151. This video was originally streamed live on YouTube on January 5th, 2025. I hope you enjoy the video. It doesn't require a particularly beefy PC to run, unless you're like trying to stream or something. I mean, you can run it on a pretty serious potato. Okay. Hopping over the gaps was your bugbear. Oh, you mean where you yeah, in this smithing design, you mean like going over these gaps here? Yeah. Don't split. I'm gonna go left. Yeah, this is about as time and well, about as time efficient as I think I can get with this design here, as far as how to smith it. It works okay. Oops. Part of me thinks that with the splitting, you should be able to split a chunk out, just like with the napping, where if you end up with a large piece hanging off, like away from the main body, it should split that off like instantly. Then again, that could just be frustrating to some players, so maybe not. It is weird that the napping and the smithing are that different, though. Hey there, Chris W. Happy New Year to you, too. Zane says, I plan on coming to your streams more often. You're one of my favorite channels that play this game. Hey, thank you. Well, I have good and bad news. The good news is that I will stream more. Bad news is that I'm probably going to be not streaming for a month, 2 months, 3 months. It all depends on what our soon-to-be child does to our schedule. So, well, darn it. Oh, stop it. Not the hammer out this thing. Where'd that go? Sheesh. You are still steaming. That took a while. It looks like the steam stops once it hits room temperature. Oops, get back here. Yep, up there. There we go. Let's see, you are still hot. You are still hot. You are still hot. So Sidious likes the consistent uploads. The consistent uploads. Well, you know, if you miss a stream, you can just watch the VOD. Like, you can... It'll even do the chat replay, too. If you don't want to wait for the episodes. But if you like it that way, then more power to you. Let's grab you. And yeah, let's go. Let's calm. We'll go sleep just so we can work in the daytime. And then we'll be good. Boom. Alright, so sleepy time. Make it day. Make it rain. The asbestos hands memory reflex. Oh yeah, from just hanging out with the hot stuff still in my hands. Absolutely. I just forget, like, you know, I need the tongs for even just handling, not just the smithing part. That's where I get in trouble. Okay, time to burn through some serious steel here. I'm going to move this out of the bar and that. I am going to probably need some more ashlar slabs. So let's get our wedgie back out. Let's get some sandstone back out. And get the hammer back out again. Oh, and we also need our mortar. And maybe we'll also put away a couple of these pantos temporarily, just to make room for the little ashlar brickies. There we go. All right. Oak tree. So you ended up reloading all your mods and then had to make a duplicate mod folder since the log indicated a different spot where the game was looking for mods. So yeah, you might be running into the same issue I did. So when I started running Vintage Story servers for my friends, this is before the servers automatically would upload the mod to the players. I had some players for whom the Vintage Story data mods folder worked, and some for whom only the Vintage Story mods folder worked. It's a very weird issue. We ended up sorting it out, but man, it was just a weird one all around. Guess I could have just loaded up 64 of these in one slot here and called it a day. But I didn't. I'll do it this time. There we go. We have 3 ashlar left. That should be enough for what we have on the docket here. And all your stone slabs now look like cobblestone. Oh, that's frustrating. Alright, let's put the mortar away. Let's grab at least 4 of our pantos. Let's have some pie. Whoops, let's not throw the pie. It's a very sandy pie. Yeah, it's stuck in my teeth now. Ugh. Ah. It's worse than the Saints of Tatooine. And away we go. I'm watching that green bar just chunk down a full pixel at a time. That is painful to watch. Okay. Only like 10 more minutes of this to do. Come on, buddy. Here we go. I'm really trying not to waste any durability on these things, because 4 was probably optimistic. Even with 5, I'm not sure we'll actually make it the whole way to the end of the other one. But I know he won't if I recopy a bunch of times and it eats up durability here. Uh-oh. The oak tree with a dad joke. A weasel walks into a bar. The bartender says, "Wow, I've never seen a served weasel before. What can I get for you?" I hate that punchline. "Pop," goes the weasel. I hate it so much. Mostly because I should have seen it coming. But where I live, we don't say pop. So it didn't occur to me off the top of my head. Come on, buddy. There we go. By buddy, I'm talking to myself. I'm like, hey man, get your timing down better. Aim better. The block isn't at fault. It's user error. A weasel from a certain region. Yeah. The weasel wants soda. Soda pop. No! Wasted durability. Pains me so. The Sebo is feeling secondhand embarrassment from the dad joke. The mystery lady fixed the firewall where it should let you host. Your sister didn't seem to have any trouble hosting, but you can get into her world then. Well, if your sister is like doesn't live with you, then her firewall would need to be the one that's set up for hosting. Basically, think your firewall and hosting a server for a game like this as sort of a mail system for an apartment building. And when information is sent, it's basically addressed as the address, 100 First Street, and then apartment 2. The apartment 2 is the really important part after it gets to your doorstep. So if your mailroom, aka your firewall, isn't set up to forward the stuff up to apartment 2, and it just sort of lumps it all in a come check your mail whenever, then you're not going to get your packets where they need to go. And your computer can send the packets with as much fancy info as they want, but if the receiving mailroom isn't set up to, actually get the packets where they need to go, then they don't. Oops. Right, and this wall is one block taller because I goofed last time. But the block that I goofed on is a block that's going to be there in the end, so we don't have to tear it down or anything. What am I building exactly? Asks Zane Mosbach. This is a temple. It is a temple to not any particular deity, I suppose. It's more a temple to the aspects of knowledge, water, and sun. I plan on having a reasonably large library here. I'm not sure how big we can really get without spending 500 years just making leather and books. But we'll see. I'd like to make a library here. We might just have a lot of empty shelves, or maybe I'll get some of the cobwebby shelves from some of the mods, or some of the ruins and mods. But we'll see. Renting a server host isn't very expensive either. Yeah, I mean, if you're okay with the recurring cost, there are a few that I've heard some folks have had problems with them, like where they'll set it to not auto update, but it will anyway, and then it kind of borks their game. So I'm a little leery of those. Personally, since I've basically run my own game servers for the last like 10 years, I just host myself anyway. So I have a backup schedule and strategy that is basically foolproof for both this game and the other block game. So I'm like, no point in me switching. Granted, I haven't hosted any games here in quite a while. Ah, so you wanted to... This is the mystery lady. You wanted to host your own because you have a beefy computer? I gotcha. When it could be, if you... So, depending on how your internet is set up at your home, you're likely to have... there's your computer, of course. You might then have either a modem and router combined, or a modem and a router. Where it'll get tripped up is if you're using a modem and a router, and your server is plugged into the router that then goes to the modem and then goes out to the internet, it can get really tripped up there. So if you don't forward the port at both locations, then it will, your mail system might say, hey, take this to the second floor of the building. But it doesn't say what room to go to, just the floor. Well, the router this says, okay, well, what do I do with this thing? This doesn't belong to me. It'll reject it. Personally, whenever I do my home network setup, I usually use the modem as the main traffic handler, DHCP and everything. And then any routers I use, if I use routers, I'll put them into access point mode, so they don't really do any lifting. They just sort of spread the love of the modem's internet to all my components. Right, I need to flip these around. Come on. Ah. There we go. And there. Boop. Much better. Zane Mosback's been playing a lot of Terraria lately. I was too, until I took a break from it to play Baldur's Gate 3. And... well, like 700 hours later, I'm still playing Baldur's Gate 3. It's a long game. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 1 was about an 80-hour game, 80 to 100 hours. Baldur's Gate 2 was 100 to 120 hours. The expansion was another 40 to 60 hours, as I recall. Baldur's Gate 3 is apparently going to be like a 200-hour game. It's pretty ridiculous. I'll put it this way: if we were streaming that instead of this, we would still be about halfway through the game. And I'd have reloaded 5,000 times. Yeah, in Terraria, I was building a giant living tree with all manner of things in it. So like the main trunk was where most of my like storage and things were, and then I would create things like a bird's nest and turn that into like a house for the NPCs, and then a beehive, which did have the unfortunate effect of adding a jungle biome. I didn't realize that beehive blocks counted as jungle. That's okay. Then I have like a magical tower and a regular house just sitting on a branch. Just having fun with it. There's another game that just popped on my radar called, oh shoot, what's it called? Not Wasteland. I just watched it. Oh, not enough materials. Oh, I need some more slabs. Where am I? There I am. Are you guys playing Modateria with Calamity and Thorium? I've seen some bits and pieces of Calamity mod. Seems like it's a pretty big, like, complete game overhaul. But yeah, so shoot, what's it called? Something delivery, Wasteland delivery, desert delivery. I think it's a game where the original name is called Wasteland Express, and it got changed to something delivery. Wow, we actually ran out of that again. Holy moly. Okay. Well, let's grab our wedgie. Let's grab our Morty. And sandstone. Okay, let's go. Let's go! I'm going to look this up on my phone while we're discussing that, because I want to get the name of that game for you guys. Because it looked really cool. It looked like something that I'd enjoy and viewers of my channel would enjoy. Dustland Delivery. There we go. Thank you, Dead Mouse Fetish. Quite a name you got there. Yeah, Dustland Delivery. Looks pretty cool. It's sort of like a little bit of RimWorld mixed with Oregon Trail, basically. Mixed with, like, apparently you can build your own towns and stuff, too. And you're basically driving a giant big rig around, very Mad Max style. You can mount guns on it and things. But it's like, it's not like a... Like, it plays like Oregon Trail, where you're not, like, physically driving your truck. You're assigning a driver to it and waiting for them to get to places. Alright. Bam, bam. Bam, bam. Am I dating myself by knowing who Bam Bam is? Alright, so that's 6 stacks, or it might be 8 stacks. Let's start with that. Oop. Saw the mortar. Oh no, the mortar's gonna be... Oh no. It's gonna be all messed up stack-wise. I don't want to overdo it with the slabs if I don't need to. Oh well, at least it's not like 5 stacks of mortar. So still have a few more bricks left over. There we go. We have 1, 2, so there's 6 stacks of sandstone ashlar slabs. That should be good. Are we talking about Warhammer 40k? No, we're talking about Dustland Delivery. Also playing Starbound with Fracking Universe with a friend of yours. Cool. Actually, 6 stacks is way overkill. We needed like 1, 2 stacks maybe? 2.5. Oh well. Well, I'm sure we'll find a use for the rest of this anyway. Alright. Where was I? Were we really right here? Huh. Okay. Have I seen or played Necess? I've seen a little bit of it. I think it's either on my wish list or I may have bought it, but I haven't played it yet. Mr. Max says, I know you like D&D. Understatement of the year. Go on. There's a campaign currently on your mini factory for Ravenloft Castle. Oh, your mini factory. Cool. I thought you meant like your workplace. Your mini factory. Okay. Where when 3D printed stands 7 feet tall. That's pretty nutty. That's pretty cool, but nutty. Oops, missed a few across the top here. So once we're done here, we'll come through with the regular chisel, and we will round out these archways a little bit. And then I think from here, we'll probably want to do the top surfaces of these first. Or we could get really crazy and work on one of the towers at the very end. I think it depends on how much time we have left in the stream at that point. Plus, if we're going to be doing the tops of these, we're going to need a lot of conglomerate gravel, which I have 4 stacks of, which is going to get us like maybe halfway down one of these. So that might mean we need to take a break for getting some more of that, which is fine. Not what I want to be doing, but we need to do it. Okay. Got a bite of this to eat. Said, let's finish eating the pie first. There we go. Hey, we have Robert Parker Hutchison. Hurrah! Great treat to see you live this morning. Hey, thank you. Glad to have you here. Okay. Let's see. You're going to put these guys away. The curse of being a parent, whenever I say the word away, instantly, the first thing that pops in my head is the Away Away song from Moana. Because it's one of the few movies that my daughter likes to watch. It gets in your head, and it stays there. Forever and ever. Alright, so as I recall, it doesn't take a lot to do what we're doing here. We'll do one and make sure we get it right. My oh my, it must be... Oh, it's right. It's dark because I'm only using the lamp on my belt. Okay, so... be adding this... Oops. Okay, that works okay. 1 in the corner, and then 2 up there, and that should be it. So fairly straightforward, I think. What's the best way to do this? I guess we'll just do a ladder here. And then 1 over there. But we'll use the axe. I think we have it. Because I'm pretty sure this harder angle is still there in the original. Let's go take a look. Zane says you're getting an Xbox 360 for nostalgia. What games do you recommend? I actually don't recommend any, because I never had a 360, so I don't know. FR, no god on cap, Skibbity Ohio Riz. Yes, I too am part of the Skibbity Illuminati. The Skibbinonomy. Skibbity Monopoly. I think I hear my wife retching just from hearing me say Skibbity in the adjacent room. Yeah, the 360 and the Xbox Xbone Series X or S, whatever. I never had any of those, and I probably never will. Especially not now that most games that used to be console exclusives are actually now on PC as well. And those that aren't, well, there's a solution for that. It rhymes with emulator. Speaking of classic games, at one point I was considering streaming Baldur's Gate on the channel, which probably wouldn't be a great fit for the channel, honestly, so I didn't end up doing it. Plus, I think I put it to a vote, and people were like, nah, because everyone was doing Baldur's Gate at the time. But I was totally planning on not specifying which Baldur's Gate, and then like firing up the first one. And basking in the outrage. I could do the same thing for Armored Core. Be like, hey, let's play some Armored Core. People show up expecting Armored Core 6. I fire up 2. Or 1. With the great sound effects. They're like 8-bit sound effects in the original game. It's great. And then a wild golem appears. Yep. I mean, that was the April Fool's episode from last year. I do have, so just so you guys know, I do have some fun plans for an April Fool's episode this year. I'm not going to tell you what they are. I also, partly because I don't know, given the young child schedule, I don't know whether I'll have time to get ready for it. It's actually one that requires quite a bit of setup if it's the one that I'm thinking of doing. So I don't know. We'll see. Oh, hello. Excuse you. Beat it. Oh, I'll keep chasing you, buddy. Oh, I see you. That's right. Sit down. Outrage, what outrage? So Cassie would enjoy having Baldur's Gate 1. There are, I will admit, there are certain things that I like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 more than I like Baldur's Gate 3. I'm sorry, Larian. I'm sorry to all the fans of Baldur's Gate 3. I think 1 and 2 were actually better. If you consider like the time that they were made. And part of it is that there are some changes that Larian made to the game system in terms of not following 5th edition's rule set that I think make the game harder and or less predictable for people who play the game. They've also made a bit of an epidemic of new D&D gamers who come to the game, especially at like tables with new DMs or DMs who are not used to having these new players, and they expect the game to work like Baldur's Gate 3 does. And then they're real surprised and shocked when it's not how it works out. Things like, drinking a potion is not a bonus action in 5th edition. It's a standard action, or an action. And so they're like, oh, I want to drink a potion and attack. Well, you can't. You can drink a potion or you can attack. Yeah, I never can play Hugh in Baldur's Gate 3. Yep. You get, like, what, I think 1 extra skill? I'm pretty sure. It's like, woo, extra skill. Whoop-de-doo. A bit of a pie to eat. One of the more frustrating ones, well, I have 2 frustrating ones. One is the die roller. I don't have karmic dice on. I think I whined about this last week too. I don't have karmic dice on, but the die roller sure likes to serve up long strings of nothing but 2s and 3s. Now I've gotten to the point of the game where my stats can sometimes make up for that for things that are like DC 10 or things with low armor class. But I mean, there are times where I will have 3 to 4 characters in a row miss all their attacks. And sure, maybe the die roller is trying to be too fair by, like, I'll miss my attacks, but I'll, like, nat 20 on my saving throws. I'm like, well, but I didn't need to roll a 20 in the saving throw. I needed to roll a 3. Like, you're not making me feel any better. I didn't get anything out of this. The other thing that's just really been bothering me is that the prone condition has the unconscious tag on it. When you're unconscious, you can't concentrate on spells. So, for your casters who have, you know, who have proficiency in their con saving throws, and maybe even the warcaster feat, so that they, you know, they could get advantage on it. Well, I had a bunch of Githyanki who all had that stupid range trip action, and they would just trip my casters. And I literally could not concentrate on the spells, not because I couldn't roll the save, but because I wasn't given a save to concentrate on them. Because I was tripped. And because it has the unconscious tag, it treated me as having fallen unconscious, even for a split second, because you trip and then they get back up on their turn. They're not unconscious, they're just prone. Has no one tried Fallout Tactics? I have played that. I don't... So the appearance is similar to old school Baldur's Gate. The gameplay is, I think, wildly different. Whereas in Baldur's Gate, you can often, you know, go in guns blazing pretty much no matter what the situation is and be okay. In Fallout Tactics, it was like, oh, you used a bullet too early, you're dead. At least in the early game. Like, it was really unforgiving. You get better average rolls with karmic dice off. That's what I've heard, and I have it off. What I've heard is that karmic dice kind of goes a little too far, where it, like, if you succeed too many times, it will force a failure, which I think isn't the way to go. I think what it should do is... This is assuming that is true, by the way. Is that if you have a long string of successes, it should start off with a low, but then increasing weight that prioritizes or favors low rolls. So let's say you roll 17, 18, 20. At that point, the game should go, oh, hey, you've rolled a lot of successes. Or conversely, if you roll, you know, 1, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 1, 2, you know, you've got a lot of failures. Let's put a slight weight toward the other end of the spectrum. So if you rolled high, then it'll put a weight toward the low end. If you roll low, it'll put a weight toward the high end. And it wouldn't be like a forced, like, oh, your next roll is going to be a 1 no matter what you do. It should be like a 10% weight, where, like, maybe rolling a 20 is a 3% chance rather than a 5%, and that chance, you know, holds true down to, you know, 14 or so. And it only holds that weight for a certain number of rolls, or until you fail. And then it resets. You know, because that way you're still providing a bit of balance without making your stats irrelevant by saying, well, you're going to succeed half the time and fail half the time. That's my understanding, is that basically it tries to make you succeed half the time and then fail half the time. So it can cause long strings of ones to roll if you're rolling about the same check, and you have, maybe you succeed on a 3, so rolling an 8 is considered a real high roll for you, because it doesn't matter what you roll. And the system ends up going, oh, well, you succeeded 4 times, now you got to fail 4 times, and so you end up with 4 ones in a row, even with karmic dice on. For you, the average roll with karmic dice on was 9. With it off, it's 12. Yeah, I had a few days, like consistent days where my average was about a 5. And that was with our karmic dice off. It was real rough, man. It was real rough. But I'm getting some pretty cool synergies going on. I'm doing a Gloomstalker Assassin build, which started out really weak. And then I got, I have the ring that gives you 2 acid damage. And then I've got some stuff that reduces my crit roll. So it's basically keen. So I can crit like an 18 to 20, I think. And then I have some more stuff that gives me like some bonuses on the first round of combat, as well as whenever I crit, I get some extra stuff, and when I kill an enemy, I get extra stuff. So sweet. Basically, I'm the first round of combat, I'm an absolute whirlwind, and then I'm okay after that. But the first round is like I can clean up 2 or 3 guys typically. Yeah, so the Eye Beholder's on Steam. Yeah. I didn't like that style of game back in the day. I should try it again sometime. But when I was looking for more of a D&D fix, that style of game didn't really appeal to me. But the other things that I take issue with in Baldur's Gate 3 are mostly user interface issues. I've had a lot of problems with clicking on a character and it doesn't actually select them. Like if I click the portrait, it selects the character about half the time. The rest of the time it just doesn't, and I don't know why. Like that should be just a bug they should have fixed before it was even released. Like when I click a portrait, I want to select that character. Don't make me click 5 times. That should have been fixed ages ago. There's another one. Something that they omitted, and I think this is because it's they clearly built this on their Divinity Original Sin engine, and so this is probably a holdover from that. But they really should change it. This is a CRPG, that harkens back to previous CRPGs. I want to be able to drag a box to select my party. Like I want to grab these 3 characters. Don't make me fiddle around with them in that sidebar where I have to link and unlink them and all that jazz. Don't do that. Let me draw a box on the screen and grab my characters that way. That's pretty near and dear to my heart. And I get why they don't let you click a character to select them, because that's the interact button. Well, maybe change it up so that in your party, interact is a right click requirement, and that left clicking selects. That would be much more comfortable to me, I think. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, I think I want to do the tops. We should probably do these too. The roof, the ceilings. Oh boy. Well, I guess we'll kind of be forced to do those anyway while we're doing the upper portions. So let's see what we have as far as bricks go. We have nowhere near enough. Okay. Good to know. Let's go ahead and let's make as many regular bricks as we can. I think we have enough stairs and slabs for doing the little crenellation bits here. So let's start with just some more wedgies. Oh my daughter is screeching with delight somewhere. you away. We have the woody chisel. Okay, let's also just make the existing ashlar into ashlar, as one does. Start with this guy first. Such work. Well, everyone, that's going to about do it for this episode of Vintage Story Desert Life. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know by leaving a like or a comment in the section below. But for now, as always, my name has been Kurazar. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.